Evening all, welcome to Space Engineers. Right, well, the visuals in this aren't going to be terribly interesting, but if you want to watch them, great. If not, minimize me and carry on about your day as I go blib blob 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 all the way through this. But yeah, we're continuing our kind of extension. We're building a conservatory on the back of this. I'm kidding, obviously we're not, but it feels like it. Look at the bloody size of this thing already. It's huge. Already I regret my undertaking of doing this in survival as well. But it's the point of the game, and it's actually reason you play these games is because you do want to enjoy the masochist nature of this kind of thing. And to be honest, I was doing it with a big smile on my face because it is kind of fun when you think about it. All of this extra space, all of this ship improvement effectively, and really then it comes to what can I do with this I guess extended ship. So this is what kind of makes me I guess intrigued with this game, is because really you can just do so much, and I think that's obviously its key. Well, I don't need to tell you this, you know this, most of you I'm sure are already playing it, and if you're not, then I command you go buy this game because it's just brilliant. It's good from so many reasons as well. I think the obvious one being is that you just have this free form kind of experience, but secondly I think the fact that is it's still evolving and I think they're evolving it based upon the feedback and videos of the community as well, which is really nice. I think that's quite an achievement to these dudes. But there we go, look at that, it's getting nice. Now we're going to have to move all of the bridge back. We're going to have to move a lot further back. We're also going to not make this just a cylinder because that's boring. We're going to bulge it a bit because bulging is everything. And I don't even know why I said that, but bulging I think is important in this case because you want to have more of a kind of weighted feel at the back. Now I couldn't tell you what style I'm basing this on. It's getting a bit homeworldy, homeworld. Potentially, it's kind of going towards that, that sphere of influence, which is a good thing because I think part of me wanted to always build something that was a little bit like the Ion frigate in Homeworld, if you remember that. Pretty brilliant ship. Building it in survival is also, I think, an incredibly painful thing. I've forgotten actually how difficult it is to build something of this scale. Usually when I've done builds in this game in survival, it's been repairing and there we go, look at that, look at that, there's meteorites. So that's probably one of the nicer things about the game as well, but I think we'll come to that. But building something of this scale in survival is no small feat. So this is where I think if you've got people who can come help you weld, grind, build, refine and mine, it does make life a lot easier. In fact, it makes it a phenomenally amount easier. So yeah, definitely worth doing. So what we're going to do now is, you see we're building a strut, a brace, if you will, for the engines, because we're going to move all 6 engines to the back of this thing now. So all of those 6 you see in the distance, they're going to be moved here, and we're going to mount them around this kind of central shaft there. Oh, it's so good. I love all these lovely engineering words that I used to sit at the back of class and laugh and titter to myself with. Shaft, grommet, sprockets. So funny. Well, not really, but I guess I was just an idiot and drunk most of the time back then. And what has changed, I hear you ask? But I think certainly with the engines, it makes sense that they go at the back because obviously they're thrusting, forward. So that kind of makes sense. What we're going to do is we're going to mount them in kind of a bit more of a pretty formation. So we're going to have 4 on the horizontal plane and then 2 on the vertical. And we may add more, but I think for now that's it. That's all we need. So there we go. Now a little bit tricky placing these bleeding things, as you can see. God almighty, it's not easy. There we go. I think I kind of got it. It's not easy to tell. There we go. Yep, nice. And I think certainly the these engines are not easy to build. Thank the Lord, we actually have already the engines at the back. We're just going to grind down and move back. So there's a huge amount of shimmying back and forward. Now, this kind of started my brain, ticking and twonking away at the possibility of having a little little sled or something that you can tow with you that you can then load up. So maybe a cargo can, literally just a cargo can with engines and a cockpit that you would grind everything into, drop it all into the ship. In fact, now I think about it, we could even build a little one-man grinding ship that just kept. In fact, that's a bloody brilliant idea. Literally, as I'm doing this, I've just realized that's actually what I should have done. So instead of grinding all this and filling my cargo ventry, which is very low anyway, I could have just made a little, you know, a little vehicle, little scooter vehicle with just an industrial miner on the front, you know, an industrial grinder rather. And then just grind these things away, and it would just take all of the parts into the back, and then all I do is just build it. And oh my god, that's so cool. I'm going to do that once I finish this voiceover. That is what I'm going to do. And that is a great example of the ideas that come from this game. Out of nowhere, just thinking about a logical situation. You know, I don't like having to go back and forward. Look, here I go. It's going to be literally lots of this now, so get used to it. But back and forward, what, 3-4 times per engine? It's such a waste. Having a little machine, it can be tiny, that just does that for me. Ooh, that's interesting. I'm intrigued. In fact, you could even have something which just has a welder on the front and then something at the back. Ooh, a little bit of delay there. And an ejection port out the back, so it just fires them out the back into a hopper, into a smaller vehicle. There's so many possibilities now. Seriously, I hope people realize how important those grinders, the collectors, and the dispensers are, because they are just phenomenally good for making mechanisms now. So as I use my ship to grind this engine, all of the bits pop out the back into the hopper of a smaller craft that I can then move back and forward. I mean, it's nice, isn't it? I'm definitely getting ideas flashing away in my brain, little light bulbs flickering. And I think this, again, just to prove it, this is why this game is awesome. I love it. It's awesome. I love it. I think there's so few games out there that do kind of, I don't know, give you this, I don't know, reward for clever ideas. There you go. That's a bold statement right there. But I think there needs to be more. I think there's plenty of games out there that will kind of try and force mechanics on you, whereas this one has just said, here's some concepts, here's a dispensing block, go and do something with it. And I do like that. I respect that phenomenally. I respect that. But you know, I think as they add more to the game as well, it's going to get more and more kind of involved. I think already I'm quite surprised at how good the conveyor system was. Excellent conveyor system. If you've not used it yet, give it a go. Get used to it, because you know, I just think it is the most incredible thing I've seen. And I'm going to do some testing and post in the comments if you already know this, but I believe you only need one conveyor system. You just link everything up to one system. And the guns won't take ore or rocks because they know not to. They just take ammo. So that's awesome as well, isn't it? That's bloody awesome. I'm really liking that. So if you have one hopper, for example, and you drop ore into it, and you drop gun ammo into it, and you drop uranium into it, they will filter to different things. I mean, that's awesome, isn't it? I do like that. Now, uranium, I don't know how they do that, because uranium would naturally go to the assembler as well as the reactors. So I'm curious to see how that might work, but we'll do some testing on it. But just the thought of having one conveyor system through the entire length of the ship just makes so much sense. It is so awesome. I'm just love it. I think this game is just an absolute testament to good ideas as well. And I think it's also a good testament to very good development. I mean, when you look at how quickly they're developing this game, how much it's come on in the last few months, it is quite astonishing, in fact, how much it has done and how much they've changed it, how much it's become a different game. I remember playing this game only in creative mode, for example. And there was no survival mode. It was a very different game. When that survival mode came in, the whole game changed. It was just a totally different game. And for the better, because it was actually a survivalist style game. I think there needs to be a lot more additions, but I think I'm curious to see where they're going to take this, because for me, I would love to see NPCs. I would love to see, like Minecraft, a little bit sad, I know, but I would like to see NPCs like Minecraft, which will just spawn and come and attack you. So, you know, the basis of every ship is you need defense. I think that has to be the way. Yeah, you can set it to peaceful, if you so wish. You can set it your environmental hostility to safe, and therefore you never need guns on anything ever. But for me, I would like that. I like the thought that I can have a ship that will take damage and you know, and has defenses. I think that's amazing. I'd love to see more capital weaponry as well. I think, you know, it'd be good if you could actually have doomsday cannons and things like that. That would be pretty awesome. Just a very powerful forward-firing thing. It would be nice if you had torpedo launchers, maybe. Just these are the things that people will want, because ship v ship combat is actually really one of the kind of key points of this game. At the moment, people get their kick in this game by building stuff and destroying it and flying it into each other. So I think there needs to be kind of more focus on the destruction part as well. There we go, look at that. What a lot of back and forth. But as you can see, this is the beauty of the game. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you next time.